It's time for fashion at the Fashion Empire, the reality journal inside and out of the fashion industry. With your hostess, fashion editor, editorial photographer, and model manager Jackie Bertolette. She shares her experiences, her tips and tricks, and how-tos and trends, and talks with other fashion and beauty insiders. Let's join the conversation. Today's episode is sponsored by Tiffany Rose Antiques and Vintage Apparel in Mentor, Ohio. You can visit them in-store or online at Instagram Tiffany Rose Antiques. Ingenuity Labs at the Hamilton, a creative community in Cleveland, Ohio. You can visit them on Facebook, Ingenuity. Darla Fox, formal wear boutique, unique and interesting apparel. South Park Mall in Strongsville, Ohio. You can visit them in-store or online at Instagram, Darla Fox. Thanks for joining us in the Empire. If you're tuning in for the first time, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. We have an awesome show lined up for you and want to remind you to stay tuned through the end of the episode for our much anticipated Good to Know segment featuring 5 tips from industry insiders. We're excited to offer the opportunity to be entered for a chance to win a 1-year free e-subscription to Haute Ohio magazine when you comment the timestamp at which the Haute Ohio logo drops a photo or voice-over bomb. And before you leave the page, be sure to subscribe, comment, like, and turn on notifications to be the first to know when new episodes hit the air. We love to hear from our citizens, so be sure to comment or email afashionempire@hauteohio.com. You can see this podcast on YouTube or on our website, hauteohio.com, and our Facebook and Instagram pages, or you can listen to it on audio podcast platforms across the web. And if you're an industry insider, shoot us an email. We'd love to have you on our podcast here in the Empire. All right, now let's join the conversation. Hello and welcome, citizens, to the Empire, the Fashion Empire, where it's always a great day to style. I'm your host, Jackie Bertolette, and I own Haute Ohio magazine, Ohio Fashion Week. I am a model manager and a fashion designer. I'm also a commercial editorial fashion photographer. You can find out a lot more about me on our Facebook platforms for Instagram, Facebook, and you can see the video on YouTube, and you can hear the audio on podcast platforms across the web. And this is my co-hostess, Arzell.
Hi, everybody. I'm Arzell. I miss Jackie.
Hi, I'm wonderful. How are you doing, love?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good.
All righty. So today we have someone that is just, I'm excited to meet him. Y'all will be too. And his name is Dan Houseman. Dan Houseman, how are you?
Well, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Now, I'm going to talk about Dan. He is a fashion producer. So he's done a lot of things, and I cannot wait for y'all to hear because I'm actually excited.
She can't wait to hear what he does.
Yes, I want to just like be quiet because I was reading some things. And I just want him to get in, like just to get into it, so I can be educated and you guys can be educated and just know how amazing he is. So let's go ahead. I'm going to turn it to him. I'm going to be quiet finally, just for a little bit, yes. And we're going to talk to Dan. Dan, how is everything going? How are you? And it's a pleasure to meet you.
Likewise, thank you.
You're welcome, Dan.
Very
Good to
happy
have
to be
you.
here. Very happy to be here. He's doing all right. I mean, honestly, like, I said, oh, great. It just doesn't really cut it.
Yeah.
I think it's stressful, but good.
Yeah.
Rewarding.
Yeah.
Let's be real here.
Yeah.
So, COVID hasn't helped much.
Yes.
Exactly.
Ooh,
It has.
it's got its traps.
Yes.
There you go. So, you have to reevaluate a few things here and there, but who isn't these days? So, that's good.
So, but you recently moved, correct?
I just bought a
During
house.
during
COVID.
COVID,
Right?
right?
Okay.
Yes. Love my new house. It's fantastic. Couldn't be happier with it. I mean, granted, there's a little of your soul every month.
Yeah.
That's something called a mortgage.
Yes, exactly.
But,
Is this your first home?
first home.
So
Well,
you're
congratulations.
Yes, I'm gonna say, well, congratulations. You got enough space for me to come in and just make myself at home, right?
Thank you.
Let me tell you what, I've seen pictures of as he's posting on his social media, and of course you're an amazing interior designer, even though that's not technically what he does, but creative is creative. And,
Hours of moving things around.
Yeah.
one thing at a time.
And he's got some beautiful art, original art.
Oh, I love collecting local art from local artists.
Mhm.
It catches my eye, and supporting the community as well.
Yes, I do that whenever I can.
Yes.
Yes.
That's
Try to
really-
support local designers
Yes,
at every
that's
turn.
absolutely.
Yes. Yes, yes. So tell us about how you got into producing.
Into producing.
Mm-hmm.
Producing is relatively new to me. I mean, for 6 years, we're 6 years, still relatively new. I mean, to myself,
Right.
but I've been really big into like small events, like things from like a talent, show, or like some just a local production. My stepmom does the production for Medina County Showbiz. If I said that right, if I didn't, I'm sorry. So like I'd like to help out with that as much as I can. My dad helps with set design. So like a combination of the two things, like we get these actors and maybe actors from practice to actual production and everything that goes with that behind the scenes and what they couldn't really sing before now. What? Like
Yeah.
and it's really fascinating. I really enjoy doing that. It allows me to flex my creative muscles, so to speak. Because otherwise, in my day, I'm mostly do math a lot.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
And why
So-
is it you do math a
I'm a
lot?
software architect.
Yes.
My main career is software engineering, computer programming, science.
Mhm. Which he
Yeah.
is leading us into the new realm in fashion, using high tech cool stuff, even on the New York runways.
I try like new concepts of how you incorporate new things, into things like fashion, how you incorporate technology in fashion. It's not like I can lighten, an outfit and call it high tech, but it's so much more like how can tech accent what we already have.
Mhm. You do like audio visual kind of
I
things,
do a
or
lot of audio visual. I really like playing around with like graphics. I'm not a videographer. I don't do like cutscenes through there. I do a lot of weird effects to video based upon some math. Like how do I apply this formula to math to make the faces do something funny, or like swirl around, or have it glitch things around and stuff like that.
that's
Wow,
fascinating.
that's just amazing.
It's really cool. I've
Yeah.
seen some of his stuff, and it's really cool. And it's really, it's futuristic, but it's still reasonable and like understandable. And it's really cool. It's just got a cool edge to it, and that's why he works in New York City.
I like to use it as a tool to teach. I tutor people, with programming, some like schools and whatnot. And how do I make this applicable to that? How do I go, okay, this is what you like, this is what you're into. How can I make it so something like a differential equation can be applicable to your everyday life? This is how you can use it in your everyday life. So doing stuff like that is very rewarding, and it also kind of teaches me at the same time. It keeps me kind of fresh with the youth, as I like to say.
That's why I manage models.
Yeah.
Right?
It keeps you in the zone.
Keeps me young.
Yes, it does.
Exactly.
Literally.
Absolutely.
Because my generation, we something else, y'all.
She said that.
I did. I said it.
But you have got, I mean, he does some of the coolest stuff in New York that, really is so fashion forward that I would not be surprised that it's going to be literally on the main runways of New York Fashion Week within 2 years. And you did it last year.
So 2017, I believe, that's the first virtual reality fashion show. It's the first like digital fashion show, and that was actually on Samsung. What was it? Using Oculus, which Facebook owns the Oculus IPs. So you can sit down with the goggles on and kind of watch.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Yes, it would be.
I'm telling you, he's got some really cool stuff. And we may be doing virtual Fashion Week, so guess who we're going to be following?
Then.
Apply some lessons that I learned, from the first one. So, that it's just a fun thing to do, and kind of makes people look a little differently at fashion in general. It allows you to still have your own personal experience in your own little bubble.
So cool.
And now you see it a lot. You can go.
We need to do a video game. A fashion runway video.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
Then maybe I'll get my kids involved.
Yeah, listen, a video game, that would be fun. That would be like
That's
so much
fun.
fun. Like, yeah, can I be the character that?
Yeah, you could be the character we dress.
Right. And I want to dance because like on the football games, like how they have their characters, they dance and stuff. So I want to be the one dancing.
Get your little signature move going on.
You put the
Just all
clothes
over
on and
TikTok.
I get dancing and I stop.
Just don't do the floss, please, God.
Oh, I'm going to. Just because, no, yeah, the floss is, I don't even know if I can do that or not.
I don't even want to try. That's how old I am.
Let's get the vaccines of that. Watching us do the floss.
Oh my
It's always amazing how much practice actually goes into something like that.
I'm telling you.
Like people just hey, they
I'm
try
telling
to
you.
that way.
I'm telling
Exactly.
It
you.
comes that way.
God.
Yeah. I'm telling you, you'd be
It's
surprised.
insane.
Yeah.
It's
But I do like to dance. I'm gonna have to like teach myself how to do it. I really don't know how to do it. I really don't. I want to learn.
You don't know how to dance?
No, I know how to dance.
Oh, okay.
I want to
Oh,
learn the.
yeah,
floss,
no,
like,
you
I
don't need to. That's so.
But I just want to be able to do it with the kids when the kids do it.
Are
It's
they
so
still
cool.
doing it?
Oh yeah.
Everything.
Oh
It's like
yeah.
all those old school moves too.
They're
They
just coming
come
back,
and
and then
they recycle.
Yeah, they renamed them, and then it's like you get around my grandma. It's like, oh, that's not called the floss. That's called the butterfly. It's not. You'll find out that it's been something different. Yeah, so I think all the old. Like,
Yeah,
the-
it's like
that-
culottes are now palazzo
See,
Wow.
see.
or floods back in my day are now capri.
Yep, I was about to say, yeah, they're now capris. Like I would call like
If
you
I had
call,
only grown up now.
you call like what is it, the flare pants? You call them.
Like,
See, I call them elephant pants.
Oh no, girl.
I do.
Like, that's
The flare, yeah, but Jackie be like, no, those are the bottoms. I'm like,
Love
what?
good palazzo pants.
I do too. I am so into those right
Some
now.
high Empire waist palazzo pants.
I need to go get me
I
a
love
pair.
that. I'm really into like a jumper too, like a one piece
Jumpers.
Honey, I'm getting into that this
kind
year.
of thing.
I'm getting into the one pieces this year. I always thought that it looked
It's
funny.
difficult for tall girls.
That's
though.
why.
Let me just tell you.
That is
Because
telling you.
we are taller than most of them,
yes.
and
In
we
one
have some
piece.
Yes.
wedgie problems.
Yes, okay. Be walking around uncomfortable. Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing you can't.
Okay, the kind of move, but it's one piece. It's a one. Like I have one that I've never worn before.
That's why when I do them, because I do design them, I have some in my line, and they are tied at the top, so it's got like a super long tie, so it's like a halter, so
Yeah.
that it can be longer if you're longer,
Yeah.
like me,
Yeah.
like you.
Yes.
Yes.
Like because
Yes,
Slide
yes.
in the back, it's elastic.
Yeah.
If you like, sew a belt into it or something, you
Yeah.
can get that like elastic so you stretch it just here.
well, ladies
That's
and
true.
gentlemen, y'all know where I'm getting my onesie from. My one piece, okay.
Okay,
Just
Luna.
thinking
Okay.
Off the top of my head, you do that.
Oh my gosh. So back to Dan.
Right. Back to as we just sit here just having a great conversation, just talking.
Oh my gosh. So you are a veteran of New York Fashion Week, and one thing that we love about Dan is he's committed to Cleveland, like I am. And everything I do, I want to remain in the Midwest with, and we focus on Midwest talent. We're not limited to it, but we're focused on it. And even though Dan does literally international work, which we'll get to, he still promotes Cleveland and lives
Absolutely.
here
That's
and will
awesome.
stay here.
Absolutely.
We are so proud of the land. I love it.
We have so much to offer here, and why not?
Mhm.
Like, everybody focuses East Coast, West Coast, overseas. People from like the Midwest, they're we're a large chunk of the population, a large chunk of the land.
Mhm.
And oftentimes, like, as you get closer and closer to the center of the United States, it seems like you're forgotten about.
Yes.
And you don't get into it. That's changing, you know?
Yeah, I think it's hugely changing. And
Oh,
I really
yes.
think that the Midwest, like I call it like a grit almost in the fashion that comes out of here. And I think that that is starting to really kind of take off in larger markets.
Oh, absolutely. You're going to say necessity is the mother of all invention. You know, here, we are in New York, we don't get everything for so long. You know, I can just, walk outside and find anything I want. Like, you want to go to a trim store, like, and, find, like, very specific, like, class person. You can't.
Not here. You can in New York though.
We don't even have cans anymore. You
No,
know, we
oh.
even, like Michael's doesn't carry like half the stuff. You can't find any.
Dude, did my heart drop when Pat's closed.
And I live right around the corner. So
From
we were
being
there
like-
right off Korea.
Yes.
So you're right there, and let me tell you, when you are working with a jewelry company on Paige, like we can just go there and need something. We're out of this, out of that.
Mhm.
Quickly go there, grab something like what we need. Doesn't take forever. Now, if you want something, it's like, well, this could be here with Amazon Prime, and
Yeah.
you can I need it now.
Right, exactly.
It's hard. There you can find anything you want. So when I say that, we have the ability, and a lot of us do. A lot of stylists that are from here, we have the ability to cobble together different things and just make it work.
Mhm.
And different looks, different styles, different pieces, and not only make it work, but make it look exquisite, make it look expensive.
Right.
And then
I
people go,
love
oh,
that we mix things like that.
Yeah.
That it's, other people would look at it and go, what?
exactly. And we didn't know
If you're
this.
gonna look at me, you might as well go, yeah, what is she doing?
What is she doing?
Stand out and be fabulous.
Yes, that's the point.
You're gonna stand out and then be fabulous.
True. Although I kind of find it horribly ironic that I style a lot, but the style myself. Like,
That's a pretty good
I'm saying, well, you look great today.
it's like that love fashion designers. Like they take outfits, black suit, that's it. Black suit, black pants, and that's it. Out the door.
Maybe one of the most impressive fashion designers wore black all the time.
It's simple. It's like, I'm fussing about this, not myself.
Mhm.
Let it be about my work,
Yes.
not me.
Right.
That's what I look like. That's why I always look so bad on a set. That's why Maria's always running
Yeah,
after me.
running around,
That's right.
yes.
On a
Yes.
set, 14
I'm
hour
not-
shoot.
Yes, I'm not worried about what I
Yes.
look like. I'm worried about what's in front of the camera, not behind the camera.
Mhm.
So I totally understand that.
My first shoot with FPL, for instance, it was September. It was extremely hot. We were in Central Park, and I'm wearing a blazer and everything. I don't know why I did that, but look good. But at the same time, at
The
the end,
center of fashion.
That's right when the camera cuts off. You take it off. No, right away.
Get your money like hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of couture with you, the Dior, you can't get out.
Don't sweat on the Dior.
Right, it's like the cooler of things just to make sure it's okay. That's what you gotta do.
Don't sweat on the Dior. Oh, that's a good tagline.
Don't sweat.
Yeah, don't sweat on Dior. Don't you sweat on that Dior.
And that's hard for models, man. When you're in front of the lights and stuff. Holy cow.
You don't know how many
Which
times
I
I felt like my makeup coming off.
we call it the UFOs or the flying saucers with the reflective.
Yes.
Just fanning with them, like
Man.
making sure the models. It's not really for you.
It's for the dress.
That's for the dress. It's
I mean,
not
yeah,
for
real
the
models. That's really what it is.
That's what it is. It's
Sorry
not
about
just
the
not for us. It's for to protect the clothes. I'm just like.
Sorry.
They're a little pricey, but
We're going
They do a little
yeah,
pricey.
we're cooling you off. Make sure you save the dress. Save the dress.
So when you're speaking of higher fashion like that, when you go to a photo shoot for, say, Marie Claire, the dresses come from where?
they're pulled. Usually, the stylist work with productions to get a pull, and they will get them from your Chanel or whoever it is, And there's a full contract that you have where you can take it out. It's kind of renting it in a way and return it, as long as it's not damaged or anything like that. And a lot of times it's either a showpiece or a window piece. Sometimes it's what we had was pre-runway, so it was what's going to be shown on the runway. And we were going to the very first shoot in September. It was right before it was, so we shot it.
So you have to do an NDA with that
well,
because when it comes out on the runway, it's a huge reveal.
Absolutely.
So
I do see some pictures that there's a lot that goes into that. So yes, not so strict per se. It's more, the production company has a relationship with the designer or the design house. And you don't want to do a relationship. you know.
Right.
It's
Right.
kind
It
of
takes a
like,
long time to build that relationship.
Right,
Just like,
definitely.
you know,
Uh-huh.
you build it up and then one day.
Takes it
That's
down
right.
completely.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. And so with that too, you know, there's things like the behind the scenes thing. You know, if you're at a photo shoot and you have models, and you have like interns and stuff, they're all on their cameras and taking pictures. It's great because you want that, you know, that like presence at social media and
Right.
like, story and stuff, but you can't like release that yet.
Right.
You can't do like, oh, here's the behind the scenes, and I'm almost at the same angle as a photographer, and then I'm, you know, uploading it. They see that, they're not going to publish. Like,
Right.
Mhm.
and we may not even get.
I was
an
gonna say,
opportunity
they,
yet.
they note your name.
Exactly. And you know, that 2 seconds of awesomeness is not worth that relationship.
Yeah.
That's absolutely
Really, it's very hard sometimes because you don't want to seem like a bad guy, but at the same time, business is business.
Right,
It
you
is
wanna
what it
scoop
is.
'em.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No. So
But you do
like,
have to kind of weigh
cell
that, you
phones
know.
here, during the shoot. I try not to do that, but you know, I
That's
also
one of
trust
my
the
biggest
people.
things.
Yes, I was
So
about to
we do
say.
a photo shoot, especially for the magazine.
Yes.
I am really particular. You can have your cell phone, but if I catch you one time photographing the looks,
Oh,
then
It's
you
over
will not
with.
have your
Yeah.
cell phone again.
Yeah, you
it's
won't.
You can photograph, you know, hair and makeup.
Mhm.
You can photograph
But that
people
look-
sitting, you know, waiting to eat their McDonald's or whatever.
Right.
You know, well, models don't generally eat McDonald's, but
Right.
you'd be surprised. But you know what I'm saying. But once they're dressed, you better not be photographing that. And there better never be any leaks on the. That had a couple of people.
I was
say
about to
that.
say, there was some
I
time
go
where,
right to
yeah.
him. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know who leaked this. It's on your social.
Right,
Right.
but you need to take it down.
It's gonna be something.
I didn't say it.
Yeah, they're gonna be silence killers over there. No, and then they don't come back to a photo shoot for me.
Right.
So yeah, I get that completely. And I'm just quote Ohio magazine. So if you're Marie Claire, or if you're carrying a Dior,
Right, yeah.
It's tricky though, but as long as everybody knows, that's the thing, you know, you need to know these things. Like if you don't say anything, you know, people should be understood. Well, not really. Like
Right.
you know, if you don't know, if you're like an intern, you've
I was
never
gonna
done
say
this
if you're new
before,
to this, right?
you can read about it all you want, but it's academic in real life, you know. So it's just it has to be said. Like, no. Afterwards, we'll let you know. And everybody wants to like, this is what I'm doing now. But if you are being published, it says 2 things. A, we're in a digital world.
Right.
Everything's online. Everything, you know, is accessible. So if you're going to be published on paper, that means the business is committed to you.
Right.
They are printing. This is permanent, like
Right.
on paper, distributed, like paying the fees, it costs nothing to really put an image online.
Right.
There's like,
Exactly.
you know,
Yeah, there's no skin in the game.
Right.
Mhm.
100%. That puts like, now you have to negotiate with the magazine producers, the editors, you know, the copy, it's getting printed, you know, getting sent
Gotta make
out.
sure all the releases are in order.
Right.
There's so much that goes into it. You know, it's not just a pretty picture on a piece of paper.
Right.
It represents a culmination of hours and hours and hours of work, and like a lifetime of a designer.
Yes.
And their vision. So you want to honor that. It's not just, you know, a model like, oh, look, I moved it. There's so much more. There's a story.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the beauty of it too, you know. So just gotta make sure, you know, everything's in line. But
Now, who picks the look?
the-
Is it the photographer? Is
Or
it the
the
designer?
designer,
Is
right.
it the creative director? Who picks the look that's going to be photographed?
Well, it's a combination of all of them. A lot of times, you know, in production for something like, you know, the Mary shoot, we got to work directly with the editors and their relations. So she was also the stylist, Azza, love her, fantastic. Now, we had a bunch of different designers. The designers themselves, they say, this is what we want. Like, we want at least this to be shown or this to be shown.
Okay.
Sometimes we don't care how it's shown.
That's
they
my
just
next
want us to
question.
see it.
I was
Do they have a choice?
Right,
Do they
right,
have
right.
any say in what actually ends up printed?
Well, they also understand that, you know, whatever magazine is going to be published in, where it's going to be, you know, published at, they ultimately are the ones deciding if or if not.
Right, the
Yeah,
publication.
Exactly.
Yes.
So that's where they lean towards, you know, the producers. But okay, they know they have the relationship with the magazine already. They know what they like, they know the story, they know the audience, demographics, the readers know like everything about where it's going to go, as well as the trends, the future, like what people are looking for, what people want, and how to still be a little edgy without it being like, oh, that's too much for me, to make it just. Huh?
Yes, I'm sure.
What was that?
I was just checking to make sure.
Just saying, yeah.
Real life people.
Yeah, it really is.
Because I can't see anything. So I was making sure it was recording, and I just asked her. So that's
what
all.
this.
I just wanted to make sure that was really recording, because there's nobody back
She
there.
can't see. She can't see.
I'm just a photographer.
I like to take pictures.
Right, I tried to do it I tried to not make it all noticeable. I was like, I tried to make it record.
No, but you know what? I mean, we're serious about what we're doing,
Yes.
but
Like have fun with
yeah,
it.
it's so much
You can't
fun.
be like,
And that would have been a snafu that we would have done.
Yeah, you cannot.
Halfway through the
No.
episode.
Right. And then we just realized we're halfway through. She's like, hey, is that recording?
Yeah, because I'm fascinated by Dan.
Honestly, you do that again.
Right.
It's not just the newbies. Even the experienced professionals screw up.
Yeah, we all do. But it's okay. It makes it. That's what helps us learn and grow. It's the messing up is what.
And laugh at yourself.
Yes.
You have to mess up. You have to get dirty. You have to make mistakes.
Yes.
Mhm.
That's the only way you're gonna learn.
Absolutely. If you don't, then like, what are we doing here?
Right.
Like,
Exactly.
nobody's above any of it.
Mhm.
And that's something that you learn too in this industry. Like a lot of people go into it thinking that it's all this pomp and circumstance.
Yes.
Like,
Yes, people
not-
think it's much
That's
more
that's
rigid.
exactly how I came
I mean,
into it. Like
I
it
mean,
was.
they're serious. They don't
They're
want,
very
I mean,
But
this is the thing that I tell my models all the time, and you would know this more because you've experienced this actually. When you come onto a set, if you're 5 minutes late, you're costing the magazine or the designer $10,000.
yeah.
Okay, it's not, oh, I was late.
No, it's
That's why people are a little bit touchy.
right.
Yes.
Yes.
You have a location, you have
Mhm.
time things on that location, you may have safety issues to deal with, you have the lights, the
Exactly.
videographers, the photographers.
And
the
people don't,
production,
and models don't realize how much money that is.
a lot of
Mhm.
money. I mean,
And if you have a
A ridiculous
really,
amount of money.
really good photographer, like, I mean, I don't know, Abaddon's there. Okay, well, Abaddon doesn't work for nothing.
Okay.
no.
You know what I'm saying?
I'll down that one because I need you.
Mhm. So it depends on the photographer too. Not
Yes.
only does it depend on the designer, but it depends on who's shooting
Who-
and
yeah.
who's involved in
Yeah, it's
it.
a lot.
And that dollar amount just keeps going
Yeah.
up and up and up. So when the model screws up, like all you have to do is show up and look pretty.
That's it.
Okay.
You don't have to back talk. You don't have to do any other. Like I don't know. Like that's how I thought it was when I first came into modeling. I really just thought I was just gonna sit there. I just really thought that I was gonna
Just be pretty.
Yeah. Like I didn't think that I would ever have to talk. I didn't think that I would ever have to speak or just be out. All I knew was the runway was where I was comfortable at, and I didn't have to talk to anybody.
Well,
All
it's
I
a
had-
full team.
Yes, it is. It's
And
a
everybody
full-
has to be on the same page.
Yes.
Modeling, a lot of
Yes.
models don't realize when you get your promotion, you edit
Yes.
runway. Sometimes you go through all three.
Yes.
You can be all three. A lot of times you fit into a niche, and it's okay to go back and forth or try to challenge the expectation. It's normal or separate.
Yep.
I personally do not abide by AMA standards. Just letting you know. Don't.
That's why we love Dan.
And anybody can. Fashion's fashion. It's not just for the tall, lanky, waist thin,
Quintessential,
right,
what
yes.
we appear to think we
Well, we think it's beautiful,
Yes.
but it's not.
You know how
What's
many-
beautiful is
yes.
what's inside.
I tell people that all the time. Like, there's so many girls that come up to me that wants to model, and they're like, "Oh, I don't know," and I'm like, "Girl, block here. This is what you need to do. Google this, look at that, research before," and I always try to help them because it doesn't matter because they see me exactly. Exactly.
And
Just
that's
be-
the other thing is the prettier you are, probably the less chance you have of modeling.
Yes,
I would
that's
say.
beauty, and then there's reality.
Yeah.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
I mean,
And let me
it's
tell you
okay,
what,
right?
I'm not a hair and makeup artist, but I can tell you that I can take like a Susie Next Door kind of face and turn that into anything. But if you have something that has a really chiseled face, like your face is really chiseled and really unique, you have a limitation into what you can be, okay? Because you're always going to look high fashion.
Yeah.
Okay. But if you have Susie Next Door, she could look, rugged. She could look, Arabian. She, whatever the set is, she could change to that. So, pretty isn't always the key.
Yes, it's not. I be trying to tell people that, no, well, you're so pretty. I'm like, no, I get turned down all the time. I have a different.
Yes, everybody says no.
Yes, I have a different.
My face,
Yes.
your cheeks.
Like I just like models need to know. Like there's so yeah.
You're absolutely right. There's a time and there's a place and there's a look. Like, a lot of people will think like, oh, I think it's this, but the designer or producer's looking for a very specific look.
Yes.
They have
And
this
I mean,
vision.
like this.
Like,
Yes,
just
the
like-
window's very small.
very small.
I mean,
And there's 10,000 models to pick from, so they can have the window
And
that's
they
small.
have post-production. So, it's like, it's a fact. You can't get around that.
Right.
Although there's a movement for that, like lack of photoshopping. It's very interesting to see the before and after.
I'm very, very particular in what I do to do as little photoshopping as possible. I might take a blemish out, but I'm not going to change the color of your skin or the texture of your skin. I just feel like, this is, you're beautiful like that. You
Yes.
don't need to.
And there's many schools of thought around that too. For instance, a lot of the items on set, like jewelry, some of it's real, a lot of it's fake. A lot of it is fake. Just let you know.
You mean there's no real cardigan?
oh right, like the diamonds don't be real. That we be like,
like,
look at that diamond, girl. You see that diamond? You mean to tell me that's just for show? So
What, is any of it funny Paige?
we've had quite a bit of magazines which had bunch of pages real. The interesting thing with that too, Photoshop is like the color of a model. Like we had a shoot, kind of one of our first shoots, major first shoots here. This specifically Bunny Page campaign. There's a model Julia holding the model Noah. They're conferring chain. The chain's a different color than it is in the picture.
Okay.
And like stuff like that where you can match it. You don't have to really worry about this isn't matching this. Your tiny post-production things can fix it. And yeah, we do offer it in that color. We just happen to be out of it and only
Right.
get it silver.
Yes.
So stuff like that, tiny little things. But those things do help enhance. But you can completely reconstruct somebody.
Yes, you can.
Our photographer and our retoucher does amazing work, and she can do that. Like she can put your head from this picture to that and that. And like I don't know how she does it. And you can just zoom in and go, I know that's any
Right.
like,
and you can-
but
right.
that's her professional job. She does it.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I'm
She's
not
like
that
everybody.
skilled at it, but I can pretty much do a lot of that stuff too.
she's not like
And I just choose not to.
Like Celine Dion, Beyonce. She's done like so much. Like she's done so much. She came back here to Ohio, start a family, and she still does this on the side. She's for hire.
She's for hire.
She is. She's amazing. She just had her third. Idris, and she's adorable. She's nothing but smiles all the time. I'm curious. Like in my house is a baby proof, so like I've got like mannequins and like my
Yeah, it's got
and
pictures everywhere.
and before it's like spike cards, they put out like these little on display. And, like,
That's a signature thing for Bunny Page. Parker Lauren runs Bunny Page. She's the creative director, right?
She's the owner, founder.
She creates them.
She makes
and
everything.
holds them.
I just help brand her.
He's the branding agent.
When you're like making everything, you don't have time to like do
I know.
the photography. You know exactly what I'm talking about. If you're making it, you're shooting it, you're doing it. So
That's right.
yeah.
and that's the thing too. People don't realize how small a production these really are. Like they're very tight knit groups of people that work really, really well together. And it's not that we're these major corporations that are going back these photo shoots. They're like nonprofit.
Yes.
FTL
And it's
is
very, very small sets.
Yes.
Too.
very
People think that there's like 100 people on the set of a Vogue shoot. you're lucky if there's 7. You
Yeah,
know? I mean,
your
really.
your makeup artist, your stylist, maybe assistant stylist, your videographer.
Creative director. That's about it.
Exactly, and then most of them aren't even on set, like,
Yes.
if they needed,
Mhm.
I'm more between shots, but touch up here and there.
Mhm.
But even if it's like an outdoor shoot, you can't afford to take like everything with you.
Right.
You can't just lug everything with you. It's just not a possibility. I mean, even like changing, those portable changing stations. That
I have one of those too.
Right?
But the problem is most models are around 6 foot tall.
They don't-
And I have to like,
She still can see. See my hand?
you literally have to get up under it and hold it up because it's only like 5'10".
I'm not gonna do anything.
Let's see the fun things on a set.
Especially when we're really hair, you don't want to get like makeup on something. Like,
That's the worst.
Oh man, that
yeah,
is.
so we had, this is a shoot from America. We had LinkedIn. She's like Asia's first like supermodel. She's tall, beautiful woman, but she doesn't fit one of those. You know, so like we're in Central Park. It's you have to go to like the public restroom in like it's not like blistering heat. It's like, oh, how are we gonna do this?
Right.
Send the team with her.
Right.
Stuff up.
I've
and
had,
it's
I mean, my daughter has actually changed in the middle of it. I swear.
like, some of them
You know,
don't
at a
care.
photo shoot,
Right,
at a
right,
runway
yeah.
show, you don't have a choice to be modest. You just,
Yeah, you just do it.
on your
Yeah.
way, so.
Gotta get done. Gotta get done.
You just did it.
And there's a time frame, remember, dollars are going. So.
Especially if you're doing a show and it's like 11 looks, but we only have 7 models. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
Oh, that is a chaos
Right.
in the making.
so how does this work?
Uh-huh.
Who's done a quick change before?
Right.
There's
Yeah.
like 12 of them, and it's
Man. Those quick changes are fun.
they are.
They are
Yeah.
fun. Literally, like man, I remember I had a quick change back to back, and like I can
That
only
literally
imagine-
was a quick change. Though.
Yes,
it was
it
like
was.
the end of one design or beginning of the next. So
It
that
re-
was
like I
crazy.
just imagine how it like looked running.
As soon as you get back, it's like ripped off.
Yes, like
Totally. It
I don't-
literally
yes.
is. And then you have to be careful of the garment.
Yeah.
yes,
I
you
mean,
still have,
know,
but you have to do
yeah.
everything.
Like,
So
a lot of people sell the garments, like the
yes,
look. I just-
yes.
I'm like,
So I feel like
Yes.
some models
Yes,
realize
that's the point.
that they
We're
yeah
trying
they
to sell
buy
it.
yeah you don't want to yes but models be like
Very true here.
We didn't just want to gather and have
right
a
you
day.
just look at
Right.
it.
We're trying to market. Right. So tell me about the photo. I was so sad that I couldn't get to this. The photo shoot you did in Cleveland for, was it for Marie Claire?
Originally, yes, it was for Mary Claire. It ended up being for Intrntl, which is a Peruvian brand that we were representing at the time. They do sustainable fashion. They actually do a lot of textiles that some tiny companies want. Yeah, like Pima cotton and baby alpaca fur. Super soft, super warm. So that ended up being for Intrntl instead. It was more geared towards that. The look of it, I think, like fit the Mary Claire girl in the end, which that happens. You know, sometimes you
I
can,
thought that was,
you know,
I mean, I loved it though. I saw it
was cool.
after. I tried to get there so.
oh, it's not
But
bad.
you,
There's
but
many
it
opportunities.
got pushed back,
Yeah,
and
you're
then it
always
got
right,
pushed
so-
back, and then it got pushed back. And I was doing a shoot myself that day, so we were trying
That day
to
was
coordinate,
so-
you know, that, yeah, it was really good.
Super sunny.
But it ended up being a perfect twilight kind of shoot.
Yeah, we got some, shots out there for like as well. So that jewelry. We try to incorporate as much, obviously, because I have a vested interest, so clearly. But other people's work as well. Like Javon, we did a shoot with Natty, Nat by Nature. She's a WWE wrestler.
WWW, yes.
And
Local designer Jay Von Terrence out of Lorraine. He does a lot of clothes for her. For her,
Yeah.
a lot of like her, I don't know, her appearance and stuff. So yeah.
like, so, we introduced them. All right, we're doing a photo shoot. Like, she's a WWE wrestler. She's not a petite woman.
Right.
She's not fat anyway. She's
solid.
muscle.
Yeah,
She's muscular.
solid. And she wears it well.
Yes.
So how do you do that? That's a challenge. Like, wait a second, this is atypical. And who do I know? Like, where can I go to get something that's going to fit and in proportion?
Right.
I'm like, Javon, like,
Yeah, Javon does really urban,
yeah.
fashion forward. It's such a great blend.
And he designs it.
And it's all handmade at this point. So
Oh, yeah,
he
he's good.
makes it himself. Four pieces.
And he designs for a real woman, not like just, a skinny wig model. And because of it, like, called upon him, like, hey, would you like to come out? Like, it was like a real last minute thing, and he did. And she loved the pieces, and some of the best shots were the pieces. He had some really high-end designer stuff, but his pieces look better. They actually look better. He does phenomenal work, and that was kind of a great intro to them. So now they in business together.
Right.
Well, not business
So that's
together.
one of the real, they work together often.
Yeah.
Right. And that's one of the really great things about, that I think differentiates us a little bit in the Midwest than it does from the major markets, is we are into networking with each other and helping each other get, like in New York, it may or may not have happened that you brought in another designer for that kind of a situation, Okay, I was trying not to say that.
It's a reality, and I have no problem. Like, people need to know the truth of what actually goes
Exactly,
on.
that's what we're doing here.
And it's hard because you want to keep an air of mystery, right? To make it like mystique, and so people desire it and want it. There's that aspect, but there's also the reality of it, or it becomes unhealthy psychologically.
Right.
It's like like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, unattainable, unhealthy.
Yes.
So kind of balance those two. Like, it really is like it's an oversaturated market in New York. It's like everybody's there.
Right.
And
they're trying to they're trying to conserve their own space in there. So
Yes.
by sharing somebody's name, you're cutting yourself out of it. So
it's all about how you work together. I really want to see everybody succeed.
Right. Exactly.
Obviously, I want to succeed.
I mean, that's why we do this.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
If nobody can say anything bad about you because all you want is the best for everybody, then you're willing to sacrifice your own, like, cut into my profits to make sure that you're taken care of. I would rather that,
Yes.
I
I'm not going to starve for
I'm
you.
not
Don't worry.
Okay. Yes. If it's a matter of like I need to pay a little extra for something.
Yes, exactly. That's why I'm trying to buy local. And by
Exactly.
the way, couture and designer does not have to be expensive.
Well, people mistake couture all the time. They think
Yes.
couture is designer. Couture is just anything custom to you.
Exactly.
Like, I can glue feathers onto you and call it couture, and I can.
Yeah, and it is.
Because it is.
Yeah, it's handmade. And
It is.
Yeah.
But it has this connotation that it's like super high end, most exquisite. And sometimes,
But like
this is
even
not all
Javon,
made, but,
technically Javon is couture. He makes them himself.
Mhm.
And I mean, his pieces are extremely affordable.
They are.
So,
And you can go to your average kind of store. You can go like Nordstrom's or something, not Nordstrom's, average, but and get a piece there. Then you still have to get tailored and fit you, or you could go to him and get it custom done. Pick your fabric and cost.
and you talk to the designer. Like you literally sit down and talk to the designer.
This is an element I like this. Oh well, can you make this for over here? Can you adjust this? And we'll do it. Another person that does that a lot too is Valerie. She's on Project Runway. She's another fantastic designer.
I met her once. This is a funny story. So I've come across her a couple times. Like she did Cleveland City and a couple other things. But we just took pictures. Oh, can I get your picture? Snap. So we are at the. I'm trying to think what it was called. The Cleveland Food Bank's Gala. All about the bag. We were all about the bag. And after the show, everybody's milling, or it might have been between shows, whatever, milling about, having a drink, blah, 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 blah. And she comes up to me and she says, "Oh my God, it's Jackie. How are you?" And I'm like, "What?" I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I knew who she was, but I never met her,
And then she was like,
I was blown away. She knew who I was. She's like, "Oh, everybody knows who you are." And I'm like, "Okay." Yeah, that's right. They do.
yeah, I'm her. She's here.
That was so funny.
Yeah,
I was just like flabbergasted that she knew who I was. It's like, damn, that's weird. So nice.
Well, Cleveland, if you were a huge small town.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing too with the city is there's an attitude and some like assumptions that are made with the industry and people. Like, you know, I've done a lot in New York. I try to bring people back and forth, and sometimes it's meant to look like this game of how dare you, work outside and other people like I'm just trying to help, you know. Like some people don't believe it, they don't take it seriously, but hashtag receipts, but
Right.
you know, like,
Big hashtag.
not see that.
Big facts. Do you see the proof?
And I personally don't believe that. I'm very much a behind the scenes person a lot. Like I work on a lot of things with a lot of people, and you know, my name's not there. It is what it is. I would rather the quality of my work than like the quantity or like something out there.
Right, the notoriety of it.
Absolutely.
Right.
Be honest.
I would love that within the industry. I don't want to be famous to the point that I can't go to the grocery store.
Right.
But it would be very nice to be, well, like, you know, Valerie knew who I was, I didn't know who she was.
Right, yes.
No, I knew who she was, but I mean, I didn't know that she would know who I was, you know. So that kind of thing is important to me because that's a respect within the industry.
It is. It's also a safety thing.
Yes.
You know, like,
Oh, big time with
Yes.
modeling and stuff.
in
Yes.
your own personal life and everything
Yes.
else. Like I don't, you know, I mean, for instance, I can't remember her name particularly. She's in next top model.
Courtney?
Courtney. Wow, thank you.
Courtney DePiro, she is one of our DMS models,
Yes, she
actually.
is.
I love
She's
Courtney.
from Cycle 22.
And, you know, it's like I can only imagine what it was like for her. Like you're on TV on this show that had like all these girls working on, and then bam, you're back home. Like
Yeah, and then like you're nothing. Yes. It's very, I've talked to Courtney about it actually a couple of times, and we'll probably have her on.
I'll be looking for her.
We've already interviewed Victoria Henley from Cycle 19.
Yeah.
But
Victoria.
we'll have to pull Courtney in front of the camera too for us. So.
Like I can imagine what it was, you know, it was like for her, people knowing here, but then like personal life on top of it. But no, she's one like when we did that one shoot where we were at 78 and okay, she just gets such a like
She
like,
cannot
oh,
miss.
Yes, she
Wow.
can.
And
Yes.
you know
Yes.
the Tyra talk.
Yes, you can tell. You can tell for sure. You can really tell.
And she's one of those who doesn't look like if you just meet her with no makeup and stuff, she's cute, but you would never think
She
she's a
can
supermodel.
transform her into a lot, like face, hair, like
That is a blank canvas.
and she can fit like fits in anything. So it's like designers like dream right there. You can do it. Not that you should, but eat something, please. No, she with a burrito.
Yeah, she can put it
With extra sour cream. Sorry.
I used to be like that.
Where do you put it?
I know. She's like this tall.
Yeah.
She's very non-traditional.
Very nice.
So, but I love it.
Like, she's great. But yeah, it's getting your name out there. It only goes so far too, and like I said, nobody can hate on you if you're really sincerely trying to help other people.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
I'm trying to give other people.
And I
the
think it's the right thing to do.
It is.
I think so.
I mean,
How
I
else
know.
are we going to get that?
Somebody gave me the that step.
Like somebody gave me that stuff.
Jackie gave me the step. Like it all ties in.
You pay it forward.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
You never know who's going to be what and where you're going to go.
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly. And in our industry, at least, I'm sure this is true in many industries, but our industry, we're getting dreams.
Yes.
I mean, it's not just here's your job.
Right.
It's a
Right.
dream that people are
oftentimes we
realizing.
see nothing of that. Like other people's dreams, like you help other people to attain like this greatness. You don't see anything from it, but you know what? We're not asking anything.
Right.
We just want you to do you,
Right.
and we can help you along that journey. Then so be it. It's like a teacher mentor sort of thing at the same time, but all we want to do is just make beautiful things. That's all we really want to do.
And
Just
share them
put
with the
beauty in
world.
the world.
Yep, put your beauty in the world.
Or ugly beauty, or beauty
Yeah, see, there's the fashion part. Yeah.
Determiners.
Ugly
We'll talk
beauty
about
is my
it, yeah.
favorite. Yes, yes, yes. Probably
Bearish
not gonna look.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
That.
That's a good way of putting it. All right. So the last thing I want to talk to you about is I know that you do a lot of 3D printing because you're into all this techie stuff. And tell me what kind of things you see going forward with fashion in 3D.
Okay. Well, one thing is 3D printed jewelry in wearables. That's been around for a while. There's been limitations with like 3D printing. You have like the filament where it's like extruding onto a bed, and you have to like build layers and layers and layers up. And there's limitations to how thick that is, the temperature, the type of material. And now they have things like the copper and gold filled filament, so you can print and then like buff it, burnish it, and it's copper, it's gold.
All right, can you say the creative going up?
Right.
I have some gold filaments, so you're printing like essentially it's kind of like a paste like of sawdust in a way, and then you can sand it, and you can make the design such that like I have a dual head extruder, so you have two different things going at the same time. So you do like a light one and a dark one, so you can kind of get like a marbling effect of the floor in wood or colors. There's things like floats and rafts where you have a extrusion of a material that holds onto another material. So like it's just a scaffolding, and then you dip it in water, and one of them dissolves away. So you kind of like
Okay, it's like tear away or melt away interfacing.
My preference is the UV resin printers, and we got a UV resin printer by Paige for we were doing a piece for Cirque du Soleil. It was her spike part, but it had to be faceted. It had to be a certain size with two different sizes. It had to have a sword in it. The sword had to come out. It had to have lights in it. It had to be controllable from at least 40 feet away. Bluetooth.
Yeah, see,
controllable.
people think it's just
Like,
but that's a lot
That's
of
a
training.
lot. Yes, it is.
Ran over by a motorcycle and fire.
Multiple times, right? Because it was in a show.
No, yes.
Well, I mean, he was a prop in a show, so it had to be able to withstand that daily, however long the show ran. Yeah.
It was.
It's a lot more than just
It's a lot
creating
more.
something pretty.
And so, like, I'm like, okay, so I know my stepbrother, Tommy, put some CAD design, and he went to school for like CIA for like sculpture and installation art. He helped with a lot of prototyping. We've got a jewelry designer out of Illinois through Shanoki through the Bazaar to help us with CAD. She's like the intricate stuff of like the jewelry there. And obviously it's performance design, and then all the electrical software aspect of it I was doing as well. So it was a lot to do, but it's also kind of the future of fashion. It's wearable. It's not just putting lights in them, but you have things now that have like solar panels that can recharge. You have materials like nanomaterials even that like almost shrink you in a way, but are still like wearable, breathable. You have things that like will change color based upon the shape of the body.
Talk about sustainable fashion.
Right.
And that's just like
Scratching the surface, right?
there are things that can measure your blood sugar levels if you're diabetic. Just the light that goes like to your fingers. And then there's stuff that can help. Like kind of give you like almost a little massage or release like warmth to areas of your body if it feels like you're anxious. Like there's so much stuff. These are like through 3D printed materials, like new textiles that are coming out with technology and software that now we know certain things physiologically. Now we can get things very tiny, right? Fit them in things, and
It's just like fascinating.
It's just
I'm fascinated to
amazing.
see what that first runway show is going to look like with,
Right.
with all of these new innovations. You know what I mean? Like I see that coming from you.
Oh,
Like I could totally see Dan
I would definitely love to be
staging
part of it.
that
Yes.
show.
The Polymoda Institute, they do a lot of that stuff. And they work with this one designer out of Germany. She did a kind of almost like a bioluminescent outfit. So normally you walk down, it looks like just a normal outfit, just completely normal. Then, bam, okay, so you get sensitive. Bam, it lights down, it's dark, and it just does all this like stuff, and it's haptic as well, and you can like touch things and do other things. Like, I'm even like, what? I would have like never thought of that, but it's
fascinating.
it's
Yeah.
kids, ask kids.
That's the truth.
Ask
They know
Because
everything.
they don't know what the limitation is.
we are so stuck in the limitations that we built for ourselves that we forget what it is to have an imagination.
Right.
And
We
then
consider
unlimited.
ourselves creative.
We think we're creative. No,
You
you ask like a
Mhm.
5-year-old, 8-year-old,
Yes.
hey, what do you think? I'll just go on forever.
Yes.
Just listen and take notes.
Yes. Yes.
Just
Do I have to pay you? Do I have to pay you a binder fee?
Right.
It's like teachers, if you have something creative, just ask your kids. Like,
Yeah.
they'll give you
Yeah.
everything.
Well, Dan, thank you so much for coming to talk with us.
Oh, thank you for having
You
me.
know, we've got a gazillion other things we can discuss. We
Oh,
could just
yes,
go
I
on
know
and
where
on
to
and
go.
on and on.
Yeah, I know. I'm just like, don't go.
It's fascinating.
One more thing, it's almost a shameless plug, but not really.
Do it.
Shameless self-promotion. It's not really, it's not self-promotion, but one of the things that in fashion that I think moving forward, not just technologically speaking, is inclusivity
Yes.
and diversity. That's something, you sent me a question about it, and I was looking at it, and I really was thinking about that, how am I going to respond to this? Is the fashion industry inclusive? Is it diverse?
Mhm.
No.
Done.
It's not, but it's trying to be.
It's trying.
It's trying hard, and I think what the difficulty for the fashion industry in trying to be inclusive and diverse is almost it's fashionable to do it, and it's kind of ironic in a way.
Yes. Yes. It
It-
almost looks self-serving.
It's very much self-serving. So, I am not doing much with fashion anymore. I mean, with COVID, I didn't do anything this year.
Right,
I
we
didn't-
haven't
I didn't
done
even
much.
go to
Yeah,
the
we
art
haven't
scene.
either.
Like,
Yeah, we
right,
haven't. Yeah, I would.
It's in a way, it's kind of a relief, I can relax, and if you miss it, you miss that hustle, I miss that, don't want to live in New York, great to visit, but too many people.
Mhm.
But,
This is a good size city for me. It's
Yeah.
like
oh, this is
living in.
perfect size.
There's so much culture here,
Yeah.
everything.
There's so much, like, you
There's
don't
just so much to do.
and never take for granted too,
Mhm.
arts and culture,
Mhm.
cultural wise, but diversity and inclusivity, it's something that, I really like to try to, emphasize. I don't want your, like I said, I'm not an AMA,
Mhm.
I don't adhere to AMA, guidelines, I think that they are just, like,
Yeah.
they make no sense to
Mhm.
the modern world.
Well, I think part of, hold that down one second. I think part of why that beauty standard is the standard is because as a designer, when you are showing a piece of clothing that has $200 a yard fabric in it, you'd rather show 1 yard fabric on a size 0 than 4 yards of fabric on a size 8. It really comes down to the money.
It's always.
And I think that,
Yes.
and I think that's a huge part of what fuels that,
Yes.
beauty
Yes.
standard. I don't think it's
Yes.
a beauty standard that the industry meant to set.
Yes.
I think it just happened to kind of become the beauty standard based on necessity.
Well, based on necessity and dissemination of information. Now we have the
Yes.
internet, everything that's been spread really fast. Then it was, a magazine or a newspaper, like television, even TV, it took a while for that
Yes.
to work up. So it makes sense of how it propagated through society, but it doesn't mean it has to continue that propagation. We have options. We
Right.
have,
Yes,
we can make a
do.
difference.
We
Everybody can make a difference in how we do this. So, I'm not doing it professionally. I might do it again, I don't know, probably at some point. I'd rather focus here and then bringing what I can to that table. Like, right now I'm working with the Studio West 117. They're like LGBTQ like ecosystem hub over the Detroit and
Yes.
Street.
Okay.
It's a whole new concept, and Lauren is the board president of the West 17 Foundation. It's a nonprofit that helps, you'll feel like
Okay.
that, money that way. So, sure, vested interest, but at the same time, like, I'm taking my creativity, my technical knowledge, applying it there. So, I'm doing a little things to like, be able to drag shows. We do stuff with, you should come by. We're about to film one tomorrow, but we try to be as inclusive as possible. It doesn't matter. We pay straight, white,
Right.
black, white, Asian, trans. It does not matter.
Doesn't matter.
We're trying to showcase, not just a person, but that you can make a difference. There's so many opportunities out there. Why do we limit these to just standard cookie cutter type person.
Yeah.
People are afraid.
They're
Yes.
afraid, but they don't have to be. I
Right.
learned so much, like a lot of creativity. People don't realize how much appropriate it is.
Mhm.
Like, so much
Mhm.
appropriation,
Mhm.
and it boggles my brain. Like even the words we use, how we use them, but then you're gonna say, no.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, and I consider myself pretty enlightened in that topic. You know, I mean, I embrace diversity. You know, but sometimes something will come out of my mouth, and I'm like, why did you say that? You know,
If you can
or
recognize it,
you know,
that's
or gosh, they might have taken that the wrong way,
Yeah.
or you know, so.
and then I'm not saying you want eggshells, but it's like you know your audience, right?
Yes.
And don't really be afraid of anything. This is just, but we're trying to like elevate in the fashion industry with like how many drag queens have you sampled on that?
Right.
Not enough.
Right. Not
I've had
enough.
2 on my runways.
Yes.
I have had trans on my runway.
Yes.
We DMSM has a
Yes.
trans sign, and
Yes.
we have. Love her. We have. I love her too.
And that's fantastic.
It means
that you do,
nothing.
you know?
It means nothing to
It
me.
doesn't, yeah.
What's beauty is inside of you, not
Yes.
It doesn't matter what you look like, what you believe.
The
None of
clothes
that
don't
matters.
care
So.
who is wearing
It
them.
doesn't. It really
You know,
I would like
Yeah.
to have more. In
It's
fact,
so-
our
yes.
avant-garde show.
It's so
really about
frustrating,
inclusion,
like,
yes.
we're different. Like it doesn't. It doesn't matter. Like it does not matter. Like 'cause at the end of the day, if you cut her and you cut me, we're both gonna bleed.
That's right.
We're both gonna bleed. Exactly. Like there's no point. Like
I hope nobody's leaving, but
not to save your life. Just to say like, hold on.
Yeah, like so that's what I'm doing now, and working with that group, fantastic. Daniel has developers. They have a lot into this and a lot of sacrifice. It's getting a lot of attention, but we want to elevate all sorts, all aspects. Because it's not just it's not just who you are, it's not just who you are, but housing. We are doing elevating the fashion industry. Partnering with a bunch of people. We are having health. Like you name it, like we're doing it. So it's not just it's a club. We're we go to like
Come have fun.
a field house, which we're about to break ground on. This sports things. We have the sports league, Stonewall Sports, which
So you're starting a culture.
Yes.
I would say starting a culture. We're it's like helping to elevate that culture to really redefine what it is. Not to be LGBTQ plus or anything, but just to be a human being.
Right.
Right. Because it shouldn't be labels. There's no. We're humans.
Exactly.
Like what is straight? What is gay? What is like?
Something like
Who does labels? You know what I'm saying? That's one thing I do not do. I do not like
I
labels.
really
I don't. Like you're not going to tell. Yes.
Like it's so hard, but you have the ability to go, okay.
You have to tell yourself.
Yes. The designer, handmade, Kmart. You know what the saying.
Yes.
I have worn some Kmart in my day, let me tell
I
you.
have to.
Champion.
That was some champion.
I love
Now,
thrift
yes.
stores and discounts.
Like
Yeah.
that was.
Like people used to twist their nose up on champion. Yeah, I used to wear them back then. Yeah.
Anymore.
It's all
It's
about
all-
branding.
yep.
It comes down to branding.
Yeah, branding, marketing.
So branding. That's right. Well, we want to thank you for being with us. Tell everybody how they get a hold of you if they want to, I don't know, do anything.
Right. Right.
Produce, be part of what you're doing, like Paige. Give us.
Email me again at Paige, that's PAIGE.com, or dhouseman at studiowest117.com. My Instagram is damndrewman. So my new one.
Oh, you. Oh, I'm like, what happened?
Oh, long story with that one.
Okay.
Oh, long story.
Or you'll have to follow me so I can.
I'm like slowly like getting people back. Same thing on there. It's the same thing on Facebook. Same thing. But just Google Dan House and find me.
Yep, there you
So,
go.
there you go.
He's bringing Cleveland to the world and the world to Cleveland, and that's why he was our first winner, Ohio Fashion Award,
Thank you so much.
the Lifetime Achievement Award for Exemplary Achievement in Elevating Ohio Fashion. Because he's bringing Ohio fashion to the world, and proudly.
We are really
Yes.
It's not a one-person show.
That's true, right? See how often he is.
I'm telling you, he's got to go.
He's gotta go. We'll have him back again, I'm sure.
Okay.
Plenty to talk about, plenty to talk about. All right, we thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you again soon. Remember, be fabulous.
Check us out, hauteohio.com. HAUTEOHIO.com. Did you know? I didn't know. Well, do they know? They might know. Who does know? We know what's good to know.
And it's good to know. What do we need to know, Arzell?
First thing you need to know, designers always should have a photo release form for the models. That is very important. It's like a cushion, a safety net. You know who's there, who paid, if there needs to be paid, or what. You know, you have account for of your model.
That's right. That's exactly right. It also gives you rights to use images that might arise. So kind of covers your butt legally too. And number 2, designers should expect to have at least one piece, probably more, but at least one piece come back from any show or shoot that is damaged or in need of repair. So if you've had a good wardrobe stylist, then they will let you know right away, hey, we ripped a zipper, or hey, that seam's broken. But usually not so, and you just kind of have to figure it out on your own. So make sure you do a once over on your clothes when you get them back.
Yes, and models should try to be careful with the designer's clothes. They spend so much time. We shouldn't rip them off and throw them. I mean, at least even if you throw them on the hanger in the sloppy, they'll appreciate it. Trust me, I do it all the time.
Yes. Please hang them up, please. All right. Number 3, designers should walk at least one environmentally friendly look these days in every show.
That's important.
Okay. It doesn't have to be made of trash recycled. It can be cotton that, cotton is biodegradable.
Yeah.
So 100% cotton is a beautiful look and a beautiful fashion. So walk something environmentally friendly and make sure that you make a big stink about it. Tell everybody, listen,
like
this
plastic
is
bottles.
Yeah. Right.
Well,
I did that. No,
make a cute top.
I'm thinking like cotton.
And here I am, way left field.
Or silk.
That's how we are.
Something. Yeah, something like that. Okay.
Number 4.
I already did 3.
4 is designers should have clothes that are, diversity. Like we need clothes that can fit everybody. There's tall models, there's short models, there's skinny models. I mean, we should all be able to walk in. We should bring this together instead of having everything separate. A skinny model should be able to walk in a curvy line. I feel like a thicker curvy model should be able to walk in a skinny line. Make the same design. Just use whatever you need to do to make it equal so we can all fit in. That's important because there's so many designers that I want to walk for and I can't walk for because I'm too thin. So it's just like, so what do I do? So
that's like the reverse discrimination kind of,
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So we all have.
We need to be inclusive like we are here at the Fashion Empire.
Exactly. So that way everybody has a chance. They have a chance.
That's right. And number 5, designers should know that anytime you walk in a show, it's mostly for exposure. I mean, the chances of you selling clothes off the runway, about that. I think in all the shows that I've produced, I have sold 5 pieces off the runway. So it's not that it never happens, but it does happen. And I'm talking about all the shows like Ohio Fashion Week that had 25 designers in it, so I mean, I'm not talking about my clothes. So
that's a good show.
So you're basically just, a catalog walking down the runway. So do not expect to go there and make money. You have to keep that in mind when you pay to enter a show. Absolutely. It is an advertising expense.
Absolutely.
Period.
The end.
With the T.
Okay.
All right,
just saying.
Arcel, we're done. Good to know. 5 tips from the inside.
Awesome.
Thank you for joining us in The Empire, a Fashion Empire podcast where we discuss the realities of the fashion industry inside and out. Thank you to our sponsors and platforms for sharing our show, and of course, our amazing guests for talking fashion with us. If you have an idea for an episode or want to be a guest, just visit HouteOhio, HAUTEOHIO.com. And of course, shout out to you, our Empire citizens. We appreciate you and your support. As always, be sure to like, follow, comment, review, and share. Till next time, stand out and be fabulous.